the best coverage of the Jazz, Utes, and Cougars is right here on The Zone. This is JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back, everybody. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. I was watching this whole documentary this last week. You know who wrote the original All Along the Watchtower? And then the one that we prefer across everything is the Jimi Hendrix version of it.
Of course.
It was a Bob Dylan original.
That's right.
So just a little music history for you here.
Yeah, give me Jimmy over Bob Dylan any day.
We were having this discussion about how the Masters champion is the one who has to obviously choose the menu for this year's. If they won last year, they get to choose it. But they also pay. That's something I found out new. They got to pay for the meal. Wild, because we obsess about menus that people pick. We're so obsessed. Here are the two things we're the most obsessed about when it comes to people being able to pick their menu. The Masters Champions menu from year to year and the last meal of mass murderers. We're like, hey, tell me what that serial killer's last meal was. Oh, so it's a great vanilla bean. Like, we're talking about a murderer, you know what I mean?
Why
Like,
are we interested in that?
I don't know, but there's like full series dedicated to the last meals of serial killers and bad people in prison.
This country's obsession with true crime is so
Napolis
weird.
He's a total Gen Z or Gen Y or
You
whatever
probably
he
know
is.
Ted Bundy's final meal,
I
don't
know,
you?
it's like, tell me what Rory wanted to eat for dinner.
I like food, man.
I am too. I am a sucker for food documentaries, and that's why I think we've gone 2 or 3 days straight of talking about Masters food over the past few days. But then I thought about it, and I was like, yeah. And then we start talking about last meals for murderers. If you're on death row, we want to know what your favorite ice cream is. It's like, geez, dude.
That's weird.
What's our problem? That's our fault. We shouldn't be.
Come on, America. Stop
Come on,
it.
Napolis. Don't support
Stop
those kinds of things. All right, we have a guest on here with us, of course. We're starting off the program, as always. It's The Cut, top of the hour here. We've got some transfer portal talk when it comes to rebuilding that BYU basketball roster. He's Jonathan Tavernari. That's where we're going to kick things off right now.
It's time for the biggest story of the day. This is what made the cut with JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, so here's what you got. Jonathan Tavernari, JT's been helping us out all through the full season of walking you through college basketball. The national championship is now in the bag. Let's talk first about that. JT, when you watched that game between UConn and Michigan, I think we were all glad that that wasn't a 30-point blowout that we had seen the game prior between Michigan and Arizona. And this tournament had been chock full of blowouts. But in this case, I think that everybody got a pretty decent game. But, man, Michigan was one of the most dominant national champions that we've seen in a long time. What were your thoughts on that one?
Well, the ratings of the show definitely will go up now that we're stopped talking about the last meal for
murderers.
electric
Yeah,
chair
thank
guys
you. Thank you
and
for
murders.
saving us, JT.
So let's start with that. My gosh, ratings are already going up. And so, I was grateful too, Alex, because, and when we've talked about this all season long, right, with BYU, sometimes talking about the Utes, Michigan made Arizona look pedestrian, which is crazy. That is insane. And they made Arizona look like, the freshman team playing against the seniors. And it wasn't particularly close, right? So that was the first thing for me. I thought the UConn game with Illinois was, it was fine. It was a good game. I was cheering for UConn because I like Dan Hurley. I think he's wild. I think he's crazy. And when you make 3 Final Fours out of 4 years, you get to be a little crazy. You kind of, your leash is a little bit longer. And so, but again, incredible game. Obviously, Michigan pulled ahead at the end, but a fantastic game, a fantastic, Final Four, a great tournament, lots of highlights, and but one thing is clear: the NIL and transfer portal are here to stay, and Michigan was the proof that if you get the right mix of players with deep pockets and a really good coach, something special can happen.
Well, let's look at Michigan and their roster construction. All 5 of their starters were transfers. I'm sure you were looking at that, JT, as we were. What do you learn from Michigan? Because everyone's going to try to copy what they did. Maybe throw UConn in there as well. What do you learn about their roster construction that in the age of NIL and transfer portal will allow you to compete at a high level and win national titles?
That I wish I was 15 years younger and 5 inches taller.
Yeah.
Because big men are about to get paid like nobody's business. Now, obviously, right, Aldai Mara and even the big man for UConn, I know he's graduating, but those guys are not a dime a dozen. You know what I mean? There's not 7-footers growing on trees right now. And so big men in the portal are going to get paid. Big man, reminds me of the Kawhi Leonard, quote from San Diego State. The board man gets paid, right? And so I think big rebounders are going to be a hot commodity in the portal. I think shooters are going to be a hot commodity in the portal. And so which coincidentally are the two things that BYU is desperately in need of, along with sounds like a point guard.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, we were talking about how big Texas's size was a problem for BYU. Any size during the year, and then all these teams were just so massive. You're right. There's going to be, I think, a lot of a premium put on all of those positions where it's like, hey, don't just get a guy who's pretty talented. You better have a big front. You better have even some oversized guards maybe if you're going to be able to make a deep run there. You saw the names that entered. You saw Diamande entering the transfer portal for BYU. Rob Wright III went into the transfer portal as well. Now, this doesn't preclude them from coming back to BYU. Both could potentially do that. When you write like a penned love letter to the team that you're leaving, I feel like that there might be a little bit more of a point on that. But what does BYU have to do to replace a guy like Rob Wright III? Because that was a guy who was a huge part of what BYU did this year. And there's going to be so much turnover. Your biggest names are walking out of the building, and you've got to replace those guys.
It's an interesting time in collegiate sports, especially basketball and football. And I think basketball more so because you have less players and, you have the NFL rule that you have to stay out 3 years before the draft, and continuity in college football is huge. And so, but I will say, guys, both of you have covered the NBA. Both of you have covered the Jazz. And let's call a spade a spade. Is Robert Wright a perennial 5-10-year career guy in the NBA?
No.
And I don't think he's not. And so this is nothing new. Everybody knows this. Probably Robert Wright, is the last one to believe that, because he still has a chance to make it there. And I think that's fine. But, Robert Wright most likely won't make in the NBA in terms of having a long career. I hope I'm proven wrong, right? I mean, you always want the best for the players, but so from that perspective, if he wants to maximize the opportunity to make, NIL money, why not? And, power to him. The numbers that I am hearing are ludicrous. Like I have talked to someone that actually knows stuff, and he told me that he's hearing upwards of $3.5 million of NIL for Robert Wright. And that's not chump change, and I don't think Sundiata Gaines ever made that much for the Jazz.
There's
right?
no second-round picks in the NBA making that this year. No. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, and so I think it's one of those things that you're like, my gosh, that's a lot of money. And so, as things are definitely moving and they're progressing. One of the things that I find curious is, how are you able to improve those numbers, in terms of the production of Robert Wright? And so are you going to look for a pass first point guard? Are you going to maybe look for someone that may be a secondary point guard that can, distribute the ball and maybe manage the game? But I think it's size, right? To you guys' point about length at all over the court. Robert Wright struggled with teams that packed the paint and just threw height at him. The Texas game was one. I think the UCF game. Yeah, UCF was another one that he struggled with mightily, just because those guys were super long and athletic. And so, I don't fault Robert Wright one bit. Right. I know that, I was exchanging a little bit of a text messages with Eric Mika about this, and he was like, I just don't think that's the best way for you to provide leverage, for you to be able to find a way to ask for more money by going in the portal. And I disagree. It's the Wild West. You are completely in your right to do that. Richie Saunders did that, when Mark Pope took the Kentucky job. And and if Richie Saunders, who is a Cougar for life, which I want to touch on that just on a second, JJ and Alex, please.
Yep.
Then it can be okay for Robert Wright to do that. And so now this Cougar for life thing, right? I think we need to stop, and I definitely going to stop doing that where, once a Cougar, always a Cougar. I think that's a bunch of bullcrap, right? I think we have to be able to separate these things. These guys are professional athletes. These guys are getting paid a lot of money to do this. There's no loyalty in sports, and, the collegiate model is completely changing. I'm not going to say it's going down the drain because, it's changing. Right. But long gone are the days of the pageantry and the rivalries and the regional rivalries and the New Mexicos and the UTEPs and the Arizonas and the Colorado States and so on. This is professional sports. Let's be clear about this. So as you guys continue to have me, right, and we had a great experience and we go into next year and so on, don't expect me to sugarcoat when someone goes 0 for 11 and they're getting paid $500,000 to play at BYU because they are now paid employees, right? It's pretty similar that we're just kind of doing this thing that, but he still needs grade to qualify, which is another travesty. But, it's a different ball game, guys. There's no right and wrong. It's just the reality that we live in today.
It is a different ball game, JT, and now these programs have to approach it differently, and we'll specifically talk about BYU here, but it applies to Utah State. It applies to Utah. Roster building now in this new era. How do you do it? Because you see so many guys are leaving. You don't know what's coming back one year after the other. We know BYU's bringing in Bruce Branch, who's an All-American, McDonald's All-American 5-star kid, but we just learned that you had A.J. DeBonsa, and it got you to the first round of the tournament, and that's it. You got to surround him with a lot of good players. We've seen the model. You look at the teams that were successful in the tournament, they're old. They've got veterans. They got size. They're big. They're bullies. They're men, not boys. So how does BYU transform this roster into a roster full of men, not boys, as they try to take things to the next level? Because they have the resources and the money to do it, but you got to build it right.
Well, and JJ, look, if it was simple, anybody could do it, right? And I will say this, you are correct. They have all, as we would say in Brazil, right? You have the knife and the cheese. All you got to do is cut it now, right? And so, but one of the things that I will say is roster creation becomes imperative. As much as coaching, I'm still going to give coaching the leverage, but it is up there, man, on the importance of creating a roster. To your point, let's dissect Michigan and Arizona and UConn for that matter. You had big men. You don't have just one big man. You had multiple big men, multiple 7-footers. You had stretched the 4 guys that were 6'8", 6'9", big. You had athletic wings. You had scoring guards, and you had point guards that were effective, right? And all pretty much everybody except the big men could shoot, right? I'm going to exclude the 7-footers for just a sec. And but it's tough, man, because then, look at Michigan. When Yaxo went down for about 5 minutes of the Arizona game, they were still able to contain Arizona because they were so deep. Now, there's also the fact that they didn't have, a plethora of injuries like BYU did. But nonetheless, right, you're looking for big, strong, and athletic players. I still think, JJ, that BYU offers something that very little schools offer, which is a chance for you to get to the NBA and for you to be NBA ready. And so I personally think that is going to resonate more with All-Americans, with McDonald's All-Americans, with kids coming out of high school, than necessarily a player in the transfer portal like a Robert Wright. Now, I'm not talking about Robert Wright. I'm just talking about a high-quality player who averaged 17, 18 points a game, maybe 7 or 8 rebounds, 5 or 6 assists. Why? Because those guys most likely will be looking for a bag. They will be looking for a way to just maximize their earnings. Whereas a high school All-American, now I'm talking about your A.J. DeBonsas, Caleb Love or Wilson, the kid from North Carolina. I'm talking about, Koa Pete. I'm talking about your Cameron Boozers, right? I'm talking about those types of guys. I personally feel that in the future, BYU is going to mess around and they're going to have 2 McDonald's All-American come to Provo. And I personally see that happening before BYU is able to attract, the top 5-10 guys out of the portal and be able to get 2 or 3 of those, right? Robert Wright was going to Baylor. BYU's offer came in. It was higher than Baylor. And then, Robert Wright had a chance to come and play at BYU, and he did. Again, I don't want to throw the word out mercenary, because to me, that's a very strong negative connotation of someone just looking that's better, right? I mean, a very dear friend of ours had a better offer than he was currently getting, and he completely switched professions, right? And so I think there are a lot of things for you to be able to look at that and for you to say, if someone offers me 25% or a 30% raise, what are you going to do? And so, but I think BYU is in a unique perspective because of the practice facility, because of the staff that they put together. And, I'll wrap up my comment with this. It is the biggest offseason of the Kevin Young era. They don't have returning players. They don't have anybody of substance coming back. And, it will be interesting to see what especially Justin Young, Kevin's brother, who is the GM and kind of like the recruiter, what he's going to come up with.
Well, you talk about that. Is Bruce Branch a guy who they'll build the roster around, or is it more like that's going to be one of the key cogs in a cast of characters that they don't have all the names for yet?
It's a great question, Alex. And what I would say is that I honestly think that they're probably gonna base themselves out of Bruce, but I don't think they're going to necessarily build a team around Bruce, because Bruce is not that type of a player. Now, this is not a knock on Bruce, guys. I want to make sure that I'm clear about that. He is not an AJ DiBanza type of player that you give him the ball and he's going to go get 40 points. That's not Bruce's game. Being part of the Adidas family with my son's basketball team, I got to be around Bruce. I got to see him. I got to understand his game. I got to know the family. He is a complementary player. And what I mean by that is, think of an Andre Kirilenko type of player where he is not going to go out and get 40, but he is going to be a 3-and-D slasher that will probably get you 15, 20 points a game, 7 or 8 rebounds. But it's not like he's going to be the centered focus of the offense. He's a little bit more Scotty than he is Jordan, but I think the sky's the limit for a guy like that in the NBA, right? Which is why I think the appeal of Kevin Young to McDonald's All-Americans is going to be bigger than the appeal of BYU and Kevin Young to potential portal transfers. Again, this is my opinion. For the sake of BYU, I hope I'm wrong, because they're going to have to build about 5 or 6 players this year from the portal.
Well, and we've seen the success. We were talking about the template being for the Michigan team. All their guys were transfers. For Indiana in football, the vast majority of their roster were a bunch of transfers. And if you can find those guys, if you can build them up, then that's that could be a level of success. I mean, obviously, people are going to look at the Michigan model for basketball and go, all right, we'll do that, because people are already trying to do the same thing with the football side of things as well. Jonathan Tavernari, former BYU great, and, of course, he's a great one always on our program. So, JT, thanks for hanging out with us today, man. We appreciate it.
Thanks, JT.
Word of advice, maybe let's not go back talking about convicted, folks in jail and the last meal.
We're talking about the food.
Eating.
JT, you need to know, true crime is one of the hottest things in the podcast world right now. We're just trying to tap into that a little bit.
We're trying to go sports,
some extra
true
cash,
crime,
maybe?
food, all at once.
Maybe we start a podcast, the 3 of us, about food, basketball, travel, and true crime.
There you go.
Yeah, well, sounds like a good idea.
They all intersect at some point. JT, we appreciate it, man.
Thanks for having me, guys.
You bet.
Thanks, JT.
Jonathan Tavernari. Love having that dude on. It's interesting. I'm interested to see what they do. I know that Bruce Branch is not going to be the AJ DiBanza type. And as soon as people say that, then they make it sound like that they got some inferior.
Oh, no. He's going to be an excellent NBA wing. Like, he's what all NBA teams are looking for.
And he's going to be a big part of what BYU can do success-wise if they can build an entire roster, not just a couple of big names. And I don't think you need to say, hey, man, this is your team. We're going to build everything around you.
No. He's got to be an important part, but he cannot be the go-to guy. Yep. What you needed was, if you're BYU, is an A.J. DeBonsa to stay more than 1 year. That's not reality. But you got to go out and find a guy that can go get buckets. And like he said, Bruce can complement that guy. It doesn't have to be a guy that's going to be an NBA superstar either. There's dudes out there that can score. But BYU's got to go find pieces that work together if they're going to reach their ultimate goals, which I believe is still going to a Final Four, winning a national championship. They have the resources to go out and get it. He's right. It's up to Kevin Young and his brother to go out and figure out what those pieces are now that they went through this experience.
Right.
Into year 3, they've had a lot of experience with different types of issues and challenges. What do they do now with the resources that they have? I'm fascinated to watch it because there is a chance for them to go out there and do something different and learn from what they experienced the first 2 years in BYU.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. When we do return, we've got a discussion to have about the NCAA and the obviously the executive order that was issued last week. We'll talk a little bit about why, politicizing an issue like that, which others are saying that's not about politics, it's just about doing the right thing. Well, we'll talk about what the impacts of the money part of it have, but also the eligibility part. How long should guys be able to play in college and earn all this money? Stay with us, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
Accessing.
When TV and radio collide.
Love it.
Wow. This is what you get. You're listening to JJ and Alex.
Don't touch that dial.
On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
What day is today? Wednesday?
It is.
We're getting down to it. You know what that means also? I think we're pretty close to being done assigning golfers to our listeners out there as part of the Copper Rock Masters giveaway, right? How many do we have left to assign? Just one on the entire list. The field's already been assigned? Yep.
Everything starts early in the morning. You're running out of time.
I love it. It's like getting your bracket in.
Yeah, got to hurry.
For the tournament. You're like, you wake up in a cold sweat. It's Thursday at 8:14. I got to get my bracket in. You got to do it. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to point you in the direction of our producer, Alex Napolis, who's going to take caller number 12 right now, 801-575-ZONE. That's 801-575-ZONE, 801-575-9663. You can be given that last golfer assigned to you. And then with that, you can watch that golfer. And if your golfer wins, you get 18 holes for 2 at Copper Rock down in Hurricane. And then you also get a $100 gift card to get you, or gas card to get you down and back as well. It is all courtesy of the folks at Copper Rock, where the pros play. I've played there a couple times. Awesome. And they just keep improving it. So it's a really cool place to play. There are a lot of places to play down in St. George that are really, really nice and really, really cool.
Oh, yeah.
And Copper Rock is right there with anybody else. So go enjoy it. Let me see here. I was thinking about this executive order and how we just kind of, it was funny because when you see the executive order, like, we're going to try to fix college football. The president signed an executive order. And then the people want to weigh in on it. I don't think that, well, one, I don't think a lot is going to get done with that. I think it's just some posturing there. But when you ask the players as in like the major, have a stake in this type of people, they always go back to ask guys like Nick Saban, Urban Meyer's a guy who's been asked quite a bit about this. I think it's going to be a really hard thing to limit players on the money, limit players on the transfer portal stuff. Like, let the kids choose where they want to go. I'm a big fan of just you go to the best place possible. We do it in every job in this world. We do all of that stuff.
If you're a regular student, can't you just go and transfer and go to wherever school wherever you want to?
1,000%. Yes. And you go and you say, hey, I'm going to do this because I think they have a better program over here. I came back from my mission and I did that. I said, I'm going to transfer. And I did. And it ended up being a better situation for me. And I did it because, well, there are a couple things. BYU was super cheap. Well, one, I got in. Two, it was super cheap. And
easy choice then.
But they had a broadcast school too. And the school that I had gone to the year before, I thought it was great, but they didn't have a broadcast journalism program. So I chose that for my path, and so here we are. We do that. We don't ask a question either. We don't go, now hold on a minute. Before you transfer, you're going to have to pay a price over to this university. You committed to us. It's like, get out of here. This is my life. Now, The thing that I do, and you're going to have a hard time limiting the money too. Like when people try to come in and go, that's not market value. You go, what are we talking about? You have no idea. If the company wants to pay it, that's that's the market set right there.
Right.
If they're willing to pay that guy $1 million to wear their shoes, then that is the market price. You can't have just some stifly dude in an office go, wow, I don't think that's not worth that much. It's like, no, the company's willing to do it. That's their choice. They know what that person's worth because they're going to set the market on it. The thing that I do want there to be an immediate type of, we got to fix this thing, is the amount of time athletes are able to play while they're in college. Now, they've discussed an age limit, right? People don't want to hear the age limit stuff because there's always things that could preclude you from, playing during a typical age range of an 18 to 22. Now, things come up. In the case of people around here, of course, the LDS mission comes up, and the older age that BYU's always had that people looked at. By the way, all universities have those guys at those ages now. What I don't want, what I hope that does get fixed, JJ, is limiting the amount of eligibility years. I'm all for. Look, we did the thing where we go, it's 4 plus like a game or 2, and then it would turn into 4 games with the red shirt rule. Yeah. And now they're just saying straight up, hey, why don't we just do this?
No, it's 9 games.
Yeah, now it's 9. And then so then they just go, look, well, then why don't we just go, you have 5 years to play 5 seasons. And I like that because at some point what we need is to look and go, oh, we kind of need the rest of the sport to get replenished here. You know what I mean? Like the sport can't have the same guys there. Your Diego Pavias that are there for 6 and 7 years. Your Trinidad Chambliss is going, yeah, but I had that. Look, if you get a medical red shirt, fine. If you get that hardship red shirt, we understand. You know what I mean? The things I'm talking about is just guys who go, well, I should be able to play longer. I don't want that. I want there to be a finite time when these guys can compete. I'm not about making it some super short time. But I also don't, when they said the 5 years and 1 transfer, I don't like that. Because I think a guy should go to a situation that he wants to go to. And if it's not working out with the coach, you should probably figure it out. And by the way, the coaches are also, too, like, it's not working out with this kid. I want him to transfer.
Right.
So coaches a lot of times are having these conversations. You can't have that 1 transfer rule. What you can have is, hey, the clock's ticking. If you've got 5 healthy years to play this sport, and I want there to be a finite limit on it. Here's what Urban Meyer had to say about it. And we'll get into it because Urban, he brought this up, and I thought it was interesting because this is the part to me that I do agree with, trying to figure out how we can make it to where these kids aren't playing forever.
A couple hot spots here. Eligibility is one of them. It's very near consensus of the people I spoke to in that room that it should just be a 5 for 5. The minute you enroll in college, your clock starts, and the minute 5 years are up, you have to move on.
Why is everybody comfortable now with 5 years?
I think it's been that way for a while, and I don't understand how that has not been passed. Because what's happened, Rob, when you hear the word red shirt, it's to give people that opportunity to mature. Because the reality is at that age, some are very ready. The Jeremiah Smiths, there's no red shirt. Go play. The Joe Burrow, Terry McLaurin, they had the red shirt. They just weren't quite ready. But what happened is when I started coaching, it was 5 to play 4. But then everything started changing. They could play 4 games, 3 games, 25% of the season. And that's just too chaotic. And again, if you have a rule, you have to enforce it. 5 years to play 5 years and move on. And the only way you get your 5th year, which I believe is a great caveat, is that you have to graduate. So you get a degree, you get that 5th year.
Look, I want there to be a finite amount of time. I'm not about like making the regulations of going, because some of the things that have been suggested have been no red shirt, no medical red shirt, no hardship red shirts. And to me, that seems like it's too much. Give the guys 5 years to play 5 healthy. The clock can pause when you have things that come up like that. That's what I want, though. I want the sport to be able to have turnover. You can't just have guys playing forever just because this is going to be the time they can make money.
Well, that's why I like the 5 for 5, because start that clock when they graduate from high school or turn 19. Because you're actually seeing a trend in youth sports right now where parents are holding back their kids in 8th grade.
Oh, what do they call it? They call it reclassifying.
Well, they have
like
names
we used to just have
it.
kids who were just like, hey, he got held back so he could be a good football player. Texas had to make Texas
happening.
Of course,
here in Utah.
When I was a kid, the state of Texas had to tell everybody you can't be 19 and play. You can't be 19 and play high school football in this state. It's a joke.
20-year-old true freshmen playing college football and basketball. Make that stop.
Yeah.
Okay? That's silly. Now, here's another point. Let me bring this up. So, Illinois was in the Final Four. And NIL brings this into college basketball. It hits football too, but really college basketball, because college basketball teams are now going heavy on Europeans. Why? Because these are kids from Europe that are really good that suddenly have an interest to come play here instead of back in home in Europe, because there's more money in college basketball than there is in European basketball. So Illinois had a wave of European players come join them. In fact, they even had a nickname. They're called the Balkan Five. Illinois went to the Final Four because they went and got these European players. But guess what? Those players are not 18 years old. So one of the players, Mihailo Petrovic, he's 22. He's
freshman?
a sophomore.
Oh, okay, yeah.
A 22-year-old sophomore?
We have him at BYU all the time, brother. Come on.
Not a mission kid.
Oh, okay.
Okay? Didn't serve a mission.
He didn't serve in the Baltics. I thought that's what you were referring to.
He could play until he's 24, 25 years old for 3 years in college basketball and make millions of dollars. But he's a man. Like, what are we doing here? Right? So that's that you have 5 years to play five,
right.
Changes everything. Instead of being able to play until he's 25, he's got to finish by the time he's 23 or 24.
Sure. Yeah.
So maybe he only gets 2 years as opposed to 4.
I just want there to be a limitation on the time frame, because we need to see other talent come in. And the other talent should deserve to be able to get paid also, and not have to wait for these guys who are pushing their local judges to give them a waiver to make a restraining order happen so that they can play a 6th year, because I might not be able to make $2 million next year. That's fine, but you can't keep doing this forever. We got to have some turnover in this sport. And the transfer portal, you can't limit I don't think you should limit where guys go, but I do think you should limit how long they're able to do it, because there should be a restriction on that. Let's get some fresh blood in this game. Let's get it going. If they can't play in the NFL, darn it, we wish you best. Glad you earned some cash along the way. Okay, we'll take a break. We'll come back. Hey, did we give away that last golfer? Who was the final golfer who got put on the list here for us?
The last one was Xander Schauffele.
I don't hate that. That's a pretty good.
He's got a shot.
Pretty good pick.
He's got a real shot this week.
Who are the guys we get? Can you recognize your own handwriting on the list over there? Who are the guys we gave away? I just want to know for us, because I'm going to write them down for me, just so I can be like, yeah, man, one of our guys got it. The people who got qualified during our show. What do we have?
We got Tommy Fleetwood.
Not bad.
Xander Schauffele.
Got it.
Russell Henley.
Okay, pass.
Ben Griffin.
Oh, yeah, the guy with the aviators.
Alex Noren.
Okay.
And that might be it.
Okay. All right, there you go. Well, that's not a bad list right there.
No Scheffler, no DeChambeau.
Who stole
I'm sure
Scheffler?
they reserved that for DJ and PK.
PK's like, just get Schauffele.
Did Scotty G get the first pick?
No, it ended up on DJ and PK for Scheffler.
Yeah, shocker.
Okay.
Shocker. PK's, I'll just give all the good guys to our guys. It's fine.
It's randomly generated.
Sure it is. Conspiracy theories here on KSL Sports Zone.
All right. We will take a break. When we come back, I got a top 10 here for you. Speaking of golf, stay here, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Ladies and gentlemen,
The biggest name. You're locked into JJ and Alex. With the insight and analysis on the teams you can't live without. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, everybody, welcome back. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. I had to listen to Island in the Sun a little bit longer, that one.
Let it ride.
Well,
Love Weezer.
I love it too. And in fact, if you love Weezer as much as JJ and I do, it is a Win Ticket Wednesday. It's your chance to win some tickets to Weezer, the Shins, and Silver Sun Pickups.
Let's get emo.
All coming out to the Maverick Center on September 15th. You can win those tickets right now just by giving them a call on our Win Ticket Wednesday, since it's Checks Notes Wednesday. 801-575-ZONE. That's 801-575-ZONE. 801-575-9663. You get yourself a pair of tickets to see that concert at the Maverick Center coming up in September. Okay. JJ, I got a top 10 here for you.
All right, let's play.
And, oh, gosh. Alex Napolis is going to be like, I need some phones. I need some phones.
I'm too busy to participate.
Sorry, I was trying to pick up the phone.
Good luck, JJ.
JJ, oh, you're
gonna do great.
You know what? It's Alex Napolis' version of being Rose on that door. Oh, I wish there was room for you.
I don't
Sorry,
think
JJ.
Napolis liked my impression of Napolis. I was way off.
Look, none of us like the way our wives say, like they talk like our voice. Well, I'll take the garbage out. It's like, oh, jeez.
The Neanderthal voice.
Do I sound like
we
that?
all get that.
Come on. All right, so, by the way, we're going to be talking hockey here in a few minutes with Jay Stevens. He's the host of Utah Puck Report. Must have been as exciting of a game for him to watch last night with the Mammoth getting the first win over the
I
Edmonton
bet he
Oilers.
got another tattoo.
He just keeps adding tattoos. Finally beat the Oilers.
Another puck.
I got a couple of things for you, and that is I have in front of me a top 10. Now it's golf related. I've been trying to stick to this kind of golf theme, and let me see if I have it. Okay, where did it just go? Got it. This is a list in front of me of now the money on the tour on the PGA Tour just keeps getting crazy. I was looking at Tony Finau's career winnings, and I was like, I wonder how much that guy's won. So he's won on tour $56 million.
Man.
Yeah. Now, 43 of it, I think, is actual winnings from tournaments. The other one is that player, the player popularity program they do, whatever they do, the PPP. It's like the loan. It's like a loan, but this one, if you're popular on social media, you can.
I don't think he has to pay that back.
No, he could probably thank Sister Finau for helping him out. Like she's
good.
She's phenomenal on social media.
The Finau social media is very good.
Yes, and so the player. What is it? The player improvement program? No. What is PIP? I can't remember what it is. Either way, but he's earned a lot of money from that as well.
Good.
And I thought to myself, golfers are making way more money now. It's kind of a bummer because guys who played back in the day were like, and I won the Masters and I got $1,000. And you're like, and back then that could buy you a Buick. But not the good one. You had to get one with the lower. You couldn't get a Cadillac. Had to get the Buick. So I thought, well, obviously the money's gotten crazy. I have in front of me the PGA Tour all-time money list.
Wow, all time. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So this is no particular order. I mean, I have the order, but I don't, obviously you don't have to get all of them in order. Just give me some names, and we'll start at the very beginning. 60 seconds. On your mark. Get set. Go.
Tiger Woods, Phil
Ding,
Mickelson,
ding,
Scotty Scheffler,
ding,
Rory McIlroy,
ding.
Jack Nicklaus. Didn't make the cut. John Rahm.
Hold on.
No. Bryson DeChambeau. Brooks Koepka. Oh, man. Where do I go from here? Justin Rose.
Ding.
Got it. Xander Schauffele.
Oh, just outside.
Dang. Who else would be close? Tony Finau. Okay. Who am I looking at here that I haven't mentioned?
Other golfers.
Okay. Thanks, Napolis, for your help on this segment.
I love how he's not been answering the phone, by the way. Just full on.
He's just not doing anything.
He
Thank you so
logged
much
into
for
his
that.
old Hotmail
Thanks
account
for
to see
clocking
if
in
anybody's
today,
got him.
Napolis. Appreciate you. I don't know. Spieth. Jordan Spieth.
Oh, wait. Ding.
Oh, you
Nice.
cost me 10 seconds saying wait.
Well, because I
You
didn't know.
can't do that during the clock. I deserve 10 extra seconds.
I'll get you. No, I'll get you there. You're good. You got the Spieth one. It's good.
That's close. I did pretty
Okay.
good, right?
You did. Number one, Tiger Woods, 120
Okay.
million of winnings in his career. Rory's number two. Phil, number three. Scotty Scheffler is number four already.
Wow.
Scotty Scheffler's number four, and all of those first three guys are all 100 million plus. Scheffler is at 80, so he's fourth, and so the drop off between Tiger, Rory, Phil, down to Scotty.
But he's 29 and he's made $80 million on tour.
Dustin
Oh my
Johnson is your fifth.
I miss Dustin Johnson.
Jim Furyk. I wouldn't have thought.
Furyk.
Yeah, I know. How about this next one too? I'm pumped. Former Masters champion as well. Vijay Singh.
Oh,
He's been years. I mean, he was making money for years on that tour.
Dustin Johnson left PGA. He's out of mind.
Yeah. Justin Rose, you got him.
Good.
Adam Scott, a name that a lot of people
that's a
don't
good
say.
one. Yeah.
And then 10th place was Jordan Spieth. So you did get Jordan. Jason Day's on the list. Justin Thomas on the list. Matt Kuchar's on the list. Hideki Matsuyama, Xander Schauffele, Sergio Garcia, John Rahm, and Ricky Fowler all round out the top 18.
I wouldn't have guessed Furyk. Good for Jim.
I know. All right. We'll take the break here. When we come back, we've got ourselves a discussion to have on hockey and whether or not we should be trying to make some plans for this playoff run for the Utah Mammoth. Jay Stevens from Utah Puck Report's going to join us next. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.